Conan the Barbarian begins with, "Try telling that to someone who's gotten polio." Mako soon starts talking to us, telling us about the age of high adventure that came after the fall of Atlantis. And then, making a sword, a DIY guide. Making this sword is Will Smith. No, not that Will Smith. This guy was in fact considered for the role of Conan before it was realized that, yeah, Schwarzenegger was made for this role.
But Crumb is your god. Crumb, and he lives in the earth.
Crom had the original man cave. The legend he shares is of giants who stole the secrets of steel from Crom, who doesn't like it if people steal steel, as it gets confusing. The giants were wiped out, but the steel was left on the battlefield for mankind to find. But the point remaining is to learn its riddle. That is Conan's purpose in life. Learn the riddle of steel. These guys look like they might have solved the riddle of steel, or at least the word jumble of steel. But these guys are coming to Conan's village. He's here in the hopes of pillaging a shirt. Well, with music blaring, the massacre of the villagers begins. Hey, what did that horse do to deserve that? I mean, there's a lot of killing of people who don't deserve it either. Just say and shoot the guy with the sword. Conan's father is doing a pretty good job dealing with them, all things considered. That sword he made earlier is working well. But he gets wounded, and the bad guys give the order, "Release the hounds!" Yep, dogs maul Conan's dad to death. That's a shitty way to go. As the village burns, it seems to be just Conan and his mother now. And any mother of Conan isn't going down quietly. They're going to have to fight her. Mobius M. Mobius back in his hair rock days. Well, the boss, Thulsa Doom, shows up to see to this personally. He pulls the old turn away then attack shtick. Yeah, it's so common, anytime I see someone turn away, I'm surprised when they don't then attack. He lops her head clean off, and Conan is chained up with the rest of the kids and led off to the north, where they are introduced to the Wheel of Pain. It's a big mill, see, and I know what you're thinking. Is it really worthwhile to have children pushing a giant mill around? To which I say, if you want to run an empire on tricks and Mountain Dew, yeah. The point eventually arrives when Conan is grown up and is so strong he's turning the entire wheel by himself, with Christopher Hivju here coming to buy him. His new boss is planning to have him perform blood sport, and Conan seems well suited. Guy's got a little shark in his DNA. They fight, which is a problem because Schwarzenegger's grunts and wails are A, very distinctive, and B, rather funny. I wonder how rich I would get if I could make an app where it made various Arnie noises as you shake your phone. This was made before Schwarzenegger made it big, so Peter Kent hadn't yet become his double. Because no one else was big enough to look like him, Schwarzenegger had to do all of his own stunts. Conan, of course, is not a fighter yet. He's a guy who pushes stuff in a circle, so his technique is to just try to use enough brute force to get this guy to stop biting him. And when you're built like Conan, that's enough. This fight went so well, he started fighting using weapons, and won so many that they reached a point where he was brought east to learn more sophisticated techniques. He learned from Master Mo the ways of the nyek. That plate is to cover the lobotomy scar. Should have worn that on his groin instead of his head. A mostly naked woman gets tossed into Conan's cage later on for breeding purposes. So, that's a thing that happens. I realize this scene might be uncomfortable, but you have to put it in context and remember that, yeah, this violation is happening, but it's all in the cause of making more slaves. Anyway, after that reminder that Arnold is doing all his own stunts, we find out that despite being a slave, Conan is starting to get respected.
What is best in life? crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women.
From his brief time making greeting cards. Well, his boss has finally decided that he's been kept too long and tells Conan he's free now. He can keep the chains, though, severance package. However, Conan soon finds himself being chased by a pack of wolves, and then... Have I mentioned he makes funny noises? He gets a fire going and finds the place is full of the bones of dead warriors, including one on a throne, with a sword. I shall dub thee Tetanus. When the dead guy falls over, Conan says Crom, possibly to indicate that it's a gift from the gods. He is in the earth at the moment, after all. Or possibly, Conan is swearing because the skeleton just fell over. With this sword, he can break his chains, kill and skin the wolves, and of course, go clubbing.
Do you not wish to warm yourself by my fire?
Actual fact, this actress appeared on the cover of the Jefferson Starship album Spitfire, where she is credited as Dragon Princess. She gives him food and drink and mentions about a prophecy or something about a great conqueror with great strength coming from the north and would generally be pretty great. She says that this great conqueror would come and conquer this great booty. But first, she mentions crushing the snakes of the earth, which really gets Conan's attention because the symbol of a snake with heads on both ends is what he remembers about the men who murdered his people. Well, he wants to know more.
There is a price, Barbarian.
That editing was not my doing. So as Arnold continues to do his own stunts, we get... Yeah, at first I thought that was an extremely weird O-face, but she's in the middle of turning into a monster. Eventually Conan has to toss her into the fire, only for a burning spirit or something to go rushing out while knocking everything over on its way to the door. Well, that's how it is, huh? Wham, bam, thank you, Conan. The next day, Conan heads out, only to hear the pleas for food from some poor dope chained to the rock. This is Subutai, and he's been left here to die. He's a thief and an archer, or as we like to say, a rogue class. Conan decides to free him, and they eat and discuss their gods. Unlike Crom worship, Subutai prays to the four winds, and they start pulling a little god dick measuring contest, but eventually they travel to civilization, a walled city with a tower. The use of practical sets for this was the perfect choice. A matte painting may have allowed for a more detailed city, but this feels more real. Well, Conan and Subutai are out trying to find the man who wiped out Conan's people and murdered his parents, but the only snakes that people keep going on about belong to Set, who has really been franchising lately. The guy also hooks them up with some Black Lotus, though I have a feeling that comes with some side effects. But it's not all horseplay, or camel play. Subutai says that the tower contains many riches, including the Eye of the Snake, a great jewel. But when they head there to steal it, they run across something unexpected. Someone else planning to steal it. There's a lot of stealing going on. That's what happens when you have a plunder-based economic system. So the trio decide to work together and scale the tower to get inside.
What on earth could smell so bad?
Do you want to live forever?
I don't know, ask me again in a million years. The high priest here is second only to the head of the order himself. She's going to keep an eye on things on this main level here while Conan and Subutai head into the pit. This means they get to plunder the treasure, but they also have a giant snake to deal with. While up top, the new member of the team, Valeria, gets to watch the naked human sacrifice happen. Well, the snake has no idea that a fresh, willing meal is about to drop down there, so it goes after Conan, while he's looking at the symbol that he remembers from the butchers of his people. Well, during the fight, Subutai helps out by putting some arrows into the snake, and then Conan finally can hack its head off. It's a pretty big snake, so it takes a few tries.